Ricky Rubio was really one of the most underrated players in the NBA in the mid-2010s, and today I'm going to be telling you why Ricky Rubio's Timberwolves career was extremely underrated. So let's get right into the video. Ricky Rubio was picked 5th in the 2009 NBA draft by the Minnesota Timberwolves, but it wouldn't be until the 2011-12 season when he came to the NBA. Rubio made all-rookie first team after averaging 10.5 points and 8 assists per game. I mean, if you think about it, he was the Facundo Campazzo before Campazzo, except even better. Rubio averaged about the same numbers in the 2012-13 season. He averaged 10.5 points a game again, but his assist numbers dropped by 1 point, as he only averaged 7 assists per game rather than 8 in his previous rookie season. Rubio was becoming one of the best rising young players in the NBA, somebody fun to watch while the Minnesota Timberwolves fans were dealing with all this pain not being a great team. Rubio's 2013-14 campaign was an interesting one. You could argue that this was his best season in Minnesota, but you could also argue it was his worst. He averaged the most assists per game while in Minnesota, while averaging 8.5 per game, but his scoring took a huge dip at only 9.5 points per game, which was the worst average for points in his career with the Timberwolves. Rubio had one of his best seasons in the league in 2014-15, while averaging 10 points and 9 assists per contest. He had a breakout year this season and really put the league on notice. He was always a top 5 player when it came to assists per game, with guys who were way better than him statistically, like Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo. Rubio had another incredible 2015-16 season while putting up 10 points a game like he usually does and averaging 8.5 assists per game. Even after this horrid season, though, Rubio stayed loyal to the Timberwolves because that's who he got drafted by. Rubio played one more season with the Timberwolves before getting traded to the Utah Jazz, and this season was arguably his best season with the T-Wolves, averaging numbers of 11 points and 9 assists per game. His best season statistically by far. But he got traded to the Utah Jazz in the 2017 NBA offseason. But Ricky Rubio's best seasons in the NBA were arguably with the Utah Jazz. In his first season with Utah, he had a breakout year. Now, he didn't average as many assists, but he was tearing it up on the offensive end with points per game, averaging 13 points a game, but also dropping 5 dimes a game. And this was really the decline of Ricky Rubio's incredible passing, but this is because he was playing with another guard in Donovan Mitchell, and they split the point guard minutes. The Jazz made it to the 2018 NBA playoffs, and this was Ricky Rubio's first time in the playoffs. They made it past the first round and made an interesting series against the Houston Rockets, but would eventually lose in 5 games. Beating an Oklahoma City Thunder team with Paul George and Russell Westbrook was a huge accomplishment, and Rubio was at the peak of all of this. In the 2018-19 season, Ricky Rubio had one of his last productive seasons in the NBA, averaging 12.5 points a game, while also dropping 6 dimes a game. After that, he went to the Phoenix Suns, where he arguably had one of his best seasons ever, averaging 13 points a game while averaging almost 9 assists a game. And this season also averaged 1 steal a game. Rubio was one of the most underrated defensive players in the league, especially at this time when he played with the Suns. And even in Minnesota, too, he would regularly get 1.5 steals per game. After his 2019-20 campaign with the Suns, he went to the Minnesota Timberwolves again in a trade package, and he played pretty well for the Timberwolves, averaging 8.5 points a game. Definitely his worst season in the league, but something he was definitely proud of, coming back to play for the team that drafted him. And then came this season where Ricky Rubio played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he was actually having one of his best seasons in his career, averaging numbers of 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game, with 1 steal per game. Unfortunately, Rubio tore his ACL and is done for the season.
Love flicks one to Rubio. Rubio to the foul line. And a foul is called. It's on Graham, and Ricky says, I thought he was saying I'm okay.
And it's very disappointing to see Ricky Rubio go down in this season. Anyway, I hope my video showed you that Ricky Rubio really was the Luka Doncic before Luka Doncic, except without all the scoring. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Click subscribe, turn notifications on.